Alright, so this is how to reinstall the cable on a counterweight that's been broken. We're working off a fireplace that we just pulled out of inventory, so right now there's no counterweight in it, but the procedure's going to be pretty much the same. So the first step is going to be to raise the door to a certain height so that we can get the cables attached and to give ourselves some room to get into the counterweight area. Got a piece of 2x4, it's cut at about 28 inches. 24 to 28 inches will do the job just fine. Raising the door up. So we have two rails. We got the inside rail and the outside rail. The outside rail allows the door to ride, allows the bottom rollers of the door to ride on it, and then the back rail will allow the top wheels of the door to ride on. What we need to do is remove this bottom rail so that we can get to the counterweight pocket, which is there. What that means, we're going to have to remove these two bolts, and these two bolts to be able to get the rail out of the way. And once we've done that, we can actually physically push the rail up, which will roll on these rollers, and that will allow us to get the space that we need. So the next step is to remove these bolts. So the bottom roll is going to have to be also pulled back to reduce the tension on the rail. Caméra en glisse. And the rail comes out as easily as that. Okay, so now with the rail out of the way, we have access to the pocket which hides the counterweight. We're going to need to remove the Allen bolt that's there and the one that's at the bottom to get the counterweight out. Alright, so we're taking out these two Allen bolts to get to the pocket, which allows us access to the counterweight. Now with the cover out of the way, we have access to the pocket where the counterweight is going to be at. So as well as taking the cover out, you're going to have to remove the bottom bracket that supports the rail. So this is just 3 Allen screws that get removed. Get the bracket out of the way, you're now going to have all the room that you need to get the counterweight tip back and towards you, so you can have access to the cable and be able to thread your cable through. Okay, I'm now going to remove the counterweight in its entirety. Okay, now what we got to do is thread the cable around the pulleys at the top, which is going to require the door to come back down. So we're going to bring the door back down. So both rails are going to have to be removed to get to the counterweight area and its pulleys more easily. And essentially with the bottom ones already undone, you've only got one bolt to undo at the very top. So in it goes. You'll be looking in from below. Obviously I got the advantage that I have light. with both rails out of the way, we do have much easier access to both pulleys, and getting the cable in will be a lot easier. Threading the cable through. Both pulleys, takes a little bit of patience. There we go. We now have the cable at the very bottom of the door, and we're now able to hook the counterweight back up to the cable. We're going to have to raise the door back up again to be able to get the counterweight back into place. So again, with our piece that is cut 21 inches, the door is completely loose now. So some care will have to be taken to making sure it doesn't fall back on you. It's a little precarious, but it'll hold it in place. Loop and shackle the cable. Slide the counterweight back into its spot. And now it's time to lower the door again. Right, door lowered once again. Go back up, grab your counterweight, cable, and let it rest in place. You'll see inside the fireplace there are a couple of holes. These holes are to put pins through to support the counterweight in its most upright position. So having a hook to pull in the cable will help pull the counterweight up, and then with the dowels you can lock the counterweight back in. We at the factory have a hook that we use on a regular basis to pull the counterweight cables through. You can fashion something with a piece of rod. As long as you have a hook that's strong enough to hold up 45 pounds of cable, or 45 pounds of counterweight, you'll be in good shape. So, wrap the hook around it. With every Renaissance, we supply dowels. This happens to one that we got from the factory on the floor, shop floor. Pull the counterweight up. Slide the dowel into place.